All right guys, so check it out. The GY6 Honda Ruckus build is pretty much done, but at this point I'm just breaking in the engine. I only have a little over 30 miles on it, and I'm really happy with the way that it came out. So I just wanted to show you some of the things that I did in this build. I had a lot of help from Ryder's Block, who did all of the electrical wiring. I am running the stock ECU, meaning that I can run the stock fuel pump, which is a clean solution because the bike fires up right away every time, and I haven't had any fueling issues at all. It's also really clean. You can see there's no wire coming here. There's a hole running through the center of the frame where all the wires then come through the front part here and then underneath the frame. Anyway, but a really clean look. You can only see let me show you the other side. The only real exposed wires are the front brake line, and then I have this line coming down for the speed sensor. But I really like these wheels and the big rotor, and then the Adelin 4-pot front caliper. I'm still running the brake drums in the back. I may upgrade those to disc later. The rear brakes aren't very effective, but the front are, and at this point top speed that I'm seeing is only around 60 miles an hour, so that seems to be okay. But as I continue to modify this bike, I'll probably need to increase the braking too. I also did this really clean aluminum plate here with these black washers. It says East Coast-ish in Japanese. And then I have the bike's name. I'm calling this bike the Kumi 2. But I think that looks really clean. These tail lights are from Steady Garage, and the two center ones light up as running lights and then get brighter for brake lights. And then the left and right serve as turn signals. The seat here is from Cheeky Seats. This is actually the stock seat and just a cover. I had to take off the vinyl portion of the stock cover, and then I put this cover over. The cover actually comes with a drawstring to make it tight, but I decided to reinforce it with some stainless steel staples all the way around to pull it extra tight, and the overall finish I think is really good. For the carburetor, I'm running the PE28. This is a knockoff of a Keihin carb, but the knockoff, the clone version of this seems to be pretty much perfect, and so far it's been running really well. For the intake, I'm just running a velocity stack and have just a little screen in there. It's probably not the safest setup from an overall engine health perspective, but for this bike I think it's going to be just fine. I have the upgraded starter from Taida, which just makes for a little bit better starts. It also looks a lot better than the stock one that came with the bike. I have the ankle biter kit from the Ruck Shop, and I also have a new clutch bell. I think that's from NCY, and I plan to change the drive face here as well. And actually I have a number of small things that I plan to eventually change on this bike, but I'm happy to have it on the road and actually riding it around. For the exhaust, I'm running the Hot Lap. This was actually one that the guys at Ryder's Block had and let me throw onto the bike, but I think it looks really clean. I love how this bar is pretty much parallel with the exhaust here. I think that looks really clean. The exhaust is also super loud. I think I'm gonna put the baffle in just because riding this around, this is the loudest bike I've got in my garage at this point. And then all of the wiring is really clean. I've got this nylon sleeve over pretty much all of the wires, and then I have this one main harness that's running here through the center of the bike, and I have secured to the center part of this extension bar. The coil down here is mounted to the head, so it has a very short run here, and then the spark plug cable is also only a couple of inches long, making for a really clean look. And then other than the wires that are running right here and up here to the light, again, most of the rest of it is cleanly tucked underneath the bike that you can't even see, coming up under the bike on both sides, and then through this center plate. The center plate is also pretty clean without it. Kind of chassis is exposed, so it cleans up the look, plus it also hides the wires that I've got inside. I went ahead and tucked a little battery tender here, but this way I can put it on the tender when I'm not riding it, or if I have a dead battery, I don't have to take apart the whole battery box to get to the terminals. In the front here, I'm running the stock headlights. I really like the stock Ruckus look. I do have the kit to drop it about 2 inches lower from the Ruck Shop. So normally this bolt would be up here and the whole assembly would be a little bit higher. I think having that lowered looks pretty good, but still keeping with the stock kind of goofy Ruckus headlight scheme. I did cut off the ears here that used to have the turn signals, and down here where I had the reflectors, I drilled this out to be a little bit bigger. I think I drilled it out to be an M10 hole so that I could put these little Rizoma turn signals, but I think that they look really clean. And then up here for the controls, I have the NCY ball bearing throttle tube, which feels very good. I've got the master cylinder for my 2019 Honda Monkey, so it's all OEM Honda stuff. The ASV lever, this was actually on my 2019 Monkey at some point too, which I've now upgraded to the RC14 Brembo setup. And on the other side, what used to be my clutch lever on the Monkey is now the rear brake lever. And I'm still using all of the same sensors. So both the left and right levers actuate the rear brake light. And then for the gauge, I'm running this COSO setup, which is very clean. It shows me the odometer, miles per hour at the time. It also has the fuel sensor. I'm actually running the fuel sensor from the Honda Met. On the stock Ruckus, it only had like a little light that shows whether you're low on fuel or not. But the Met actually has a full sensor that actually shows you how much fuel you have. It's just one of those potential meters that move up and down. So I have that wired here. You can see I have full fuel. And then this also shows turn signal information. So left turn, right turn. And then for the controls on this side, this is also from the Monkey. So all OEM Honda switches, horn, and the left and right turn signals, which I think just feel a lot better than some of the aftermarket options that don't have this nice push to reset function. We've got a really small mirror here on the left side, which I think looks good and is just enough visibility for what I need. And to start the bike, it's just turn on the key, and this is the push to start. And actually you could hear when you turn it on, the fuel pump first gives a few chugs to get all the fuel up to the carburetor. And then to turn it off, key off. My wife really likes riding it, and she's kind of hinted that she might want one. She also likes that there's no clutch on this. It's just twist and go, and while she knows how to ride the Grom and a regular clutched bike, she definitely isn't a fan of it like I am, and I think would prefer to have a bike like this. Anyway, this bike is an absolute blast to ride, and I really like the way that it came out. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below about this bike, what you think I might do to it next. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos, and keep on building.